Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Elusive Panda. I'm Brian Kaler, and this particular episode is going to be something I'll call Retro Panda. Retro Panda is where we look at vintage or retro pieces of equipment like old Kodak stuff or old cameras, things that are not really used much anymore but are still kind of cool. So let's start with this piece. One of my hobbies is going to antique stores and looking around. I happened to see this thing and I got really excited. So what is it? If you look at the front plate, you'll see that it says Kodak Ektagraphic AF. But what is that? I'll give you a hint. Right here. You might have seen one of these before. Maybe on Mad Men.
It's not called the wheel. It's called the carousel.
Where Don Draper invents the carousel for the Kodak slide projector. So this is a slide projector. Let me show you. I'll put this on and it might look a little bit more familiar. All right, so the slide carousel goes up on the top, and the top is the projector. The bottom is a bunch of other really cool features we're going to talk about. So I'll go ahead and turn it on now. It's going to be a little bit noisy, so bear with me if it's harder to hear. So what you're hearing right now is the fan. The projector light bulb is very, very bright and gets very hot. So there's always a fan in projectors to dissipate some of the heat. So if you're wondering, where's the lens? Like, how does it project? So the lens is behind this little compartment right here. You can use this to project onto a screen or a wall. Or you have the option of this internal screen. When you close the lens door, it will project onto this front screen. There you go. So right now I'm going to turn on the automatic timer, which is going to advance the slides as I'm talking. So I'll tell you about a few of the features. Up on the top you've got forward and backward for the slides, another button you can use to turn the entire carousel, and then there's also an autofocus feature, and I'm not even entirely sure how this works. I think it just positions each slide to an exact spot, a distance from the lens. And then besides the autofocus, there's the timer which is advancing the slides right now without me doing anything. And then over on this side, you can see on the front too, there's a bunch of audio controls because there's a built-in cassette player. There's a microphone. Here's the original microphone. There's a setting for high or low brightness. There's a speaker output, a headphone jack, and there's even a remote jack where you can plug this into another Kodak projector and run two projectors simultaneously. One of the neatest features about this is that you can actually make intelligently advancing slides. So with the cassette feature, you can have an audio track, maybe some classical music or something, and then you can actually use the microphone to record your audio describing your vacation to Europe or describing what's going on in the slides over top of that audio. And then a really interesting feature is that as you're describing stuff and you hit the advance button, it will put a tone, a 500 hertz tone on the opposite track of the cassette, track B. And so that way it knows when it hits this little beep, it will automatically advance. So when you're creating your presentation, you can create it so that it automatically advances at exactly the spots you told it to as you recorded the audio. It's really pretty amazing. Right now you can see slides from someone's vacation to Japan. I collect old slides. Slides are film. Most commonly you'd see Kodak Kodachrome, Kodak Ektachrome. Those are really famous for their colors. And then also Fuji Velvia, which was a very saturated, beautiful film. These are called color positives. And in color positives, you can hold up the negative. You can hold up the negative to the light and look through it, and you'll see the colors exactly like they are in real life, as opposed to a typical negative, which when you hold it up, the colors are reversed, or if it's black and white, black and white are reversed. Those are for enlarging, where you put it in a projector and then it projects onto paper for making a print. A color positive slide is for use in a slide projector to project onto a wall or show people your slides, just like you're seeing right here. So I was really happy to find this. I have thousands and thousands of slides that I've collected from estate sales and antique stores, a lot of vacations to places like Japan, Iran, Afghanistan, Hawaii, Germany especially. These are all trips that people took in the late 60s and the 70s, and they're fascinating to look at because they have old cars and old buildings and old-fashioned styles, and sometimes there are really beautiful photos that I can scan and actually make prints out of myself. So that's one of the things I do, is I collect really cool Kodak stuff, and besides just being a neat collector's item, this is actually very useful because instead of having to project onto a wall, I can just look at the screen and project right here in front of me at a convenient distance, and it's very sharp and it looks very good up close. We'll look at some more equipment, maybe some cameras on another episode of Retro Panda. Look forward to it in the future, and see you guys later.